All right, we good? All right. What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Big Games BS, part of Did Media Group, presented by the MFTK Foundation.com. MFTKFoundation.com is the go-to website for everything that's involved with our community exploits that we do with in the Jacksonville, Tallahassee, other metro areas. Got a good show going today. Got a lot to catch up on. A lot of stuff has happened. Kids are back in school, so I'm happy about that. And we get things going. Outside of that, I'm not gonna go too much into the MFTK Foundation because I do know we're going to be speaking about that, I think, in the show notes. Normally we have that in the first part of it, but we got a big showcase coming up this weekend. If not, we'll talk about stuff as it continues to go on. But we got a lot of NFL things to catch back up on, a lot of FSU news apparently. A lot of stuff going on in college and a lot of discussion. So again, in the comments, this is a type show. So I want you guys to be able to enjoy communicating back and forth with us about some of the different things, especially when you have FSU questions or things like that. Remember, you get to dictate the show when you do a super chat. So a super chat, we'll kind of stop what we're doing and we'll discuss that at that moment, what it is that you're talking about. Also, get some housekeeping things in order. We're over 70. We're at 7,300. So we are 700 away from the next giveaway. So if you want to be able to take part in that, that's there for you. Consider becoming a member. That's the green. Those are the people who are green in the chat. With that, membership has its perks. We're way behind on a lot of shit. Gotta call this dude Trisha. I'm gonna try to get my roster right. Outside of that, we'll go ahead and get the show started the same way we start every show, with a good word of prayer.
You already know what time it is, dog. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God. God is great all the time. All the time. You're right. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
All right, Jaden, what we got?
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Big Games BS here on Wednesday, January 7th. This is your first time at the show. Welcome. And if you're wondering why it's called Big Games BS, is because we bring the good, the bad, and the BS of the sports world, especially football, to your screens, eyes, and ears. First things first, we are going to start off with the MFTK segment. James is going to be talking about a showcase that's going to be happening. And then from that segment, we're going to march on over to some FSU college football talk. There's been a lot of movement, especially in regards to the roster. So we're going to be highlighting some of the more notable players that have been in our roster or that has been moved out of our roster and transferred out. Then we're going to take a look at some more college football topics today as well, starting with some players, talk about the portal, and then talk about a team as well. Then after that, we're going to move on to the NFL portion of the show. We have our NIL topic to kick off that segment. NIL meaning Knowles in the league. We're going to highlight some FSUs who've been doing their thing in the pros, talk about the Jaguars, then hit you guys and update you guys with the recent head coach and general manager firings and subsequently open positions. talk about some teams as well, and then look at some top fantasy players, Super Bowl odds before getting to our big games BS section for the day, where we bring the scope of the conversation outside of the typical football world. We're going to have our BS or bussing food review segment, but this time we're going to be asking a question. So, and then to finish off our show, we have a funny NHL moment for you guys, the National Hockey League. But we're going to actually come back to that. But James, I was trying to find it on Twitter. I didn't get a chance to find it, but you did mention the showcase that is happening this
I said showcase. I'm in a tournament. I'm bad. If you go to St. John Spartans or at 904 Kang, Kang, it might be on their pages on Twitter. That's Colby stuff. But a tune-up tournament, basically going to have a bunch of different teams. Our guys are going to come out, get a chance to play around, see our teams, and really assess how our guys do in competition before we go to Battle Miami next weekend. Battle Miami is a big deal. We got a good squad. We're trying to solidify our teams, and we feel like we should be really, really damn good. So this would be our opportunity to just see you throwing around, trying some different stuff out, and just really try to make a mark. We know a lot of people locally are gunning for us because we got a lot of flair, we got a little motion, but that's kind of what you want, and that's what's to be expected. Yeah. So outside of that, man, just here to ball out, here to have a good time. I am all like paid out. I'm tired of spending money. Like the one thing in this seat, you get tired of spending money. So we can never, the more we fundraise, the more lives we can encounter and change, the more things we can do for the Jits. But like, man, some of these guys putting them on flights, it's crazy. Like I had a guy. Well, yeah, we got some guys major. But I was fine. I had to buy Battle Miami tickets. I mean, buy flights for Miami next week because them flights is getting outrageous. But for what people don't realize, when you're in these, like in the general manager's shoes and writing the checks, right? It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a meal. It's like it becomes a lot. I think not buying the tickets last week cost us about, because we didn't have all the funds ready. It cost us about $1,000 to $1,500. I lost $400 in a matter of hours. And so I had all of the flights. I knew what I was going through, what I was getting ready to do. Now, 134 of it was user error, which is why I needed Chanel to do it. But I was trying to make it happen on my own. I was kind of sleepwalking. So Crow's son is playing for me. So I got Crow's tickets. And then I booked the next kid's tickets from the same airport because there was a guy flying from Houston to Miami, but flying from Miami to Birmingham, where one of our players is from. Problem is, I booked the whole flight and I pushed it. But I caught the mistake in 10 minutes, right? $99 to change the flight. And then $34 difference that I had to pay. So $99 to get the credit for the flight. And then I had to pay $34 for the difference. Oh my gosh, I just clicked send. I could have probably saved more money in the long run by saying that was a fraud alert, hitting the fraud on it.
Oh yeah.
And then they would have had to give me the money back anyway. They would have canceled the flight. And then I would have just went and bought something later on. But like, yeah, that's wild. Jada, make sure we table that Till Dog. Make sure we remember the Till Dog talk, because I know we have that in the notes where we're going to be talking about that, and his thing needs to happen. Somebody said that happened to me Thanksgiving. It was just like I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Like once you get into then you book in the hotels, man. They don't want you to pay for the hotel when you get there. I had to pay for all the fucking hotels for next weekend, Monday. Yeah, that's what I said. So like, don't ask me for shit. Like MFTK right now. So like, but it's part of the cool thing. It's fun. I appreciate every like every listen, all of these different things. I appreciate all that stuff going on. William Kersey asked a great question. James, will FSU ever get back to the championship level with the amount of money it takes to fill the championship roster? We could have. This is no optimistic thinking. FSU should have been in that position this year. There's no reason you lose to Virginia. There's no reason you lose. If Virginia doesn't have that level of roster, there's no reason Virginia loses to Duke. There's no reason that we should have lost to NC State. There's no reason we should have lost to Stanford. There's no reason we should have lost. I'm missing one. I'm missing a few of them. Like, it's games that you can go back and look on that schedule that your roster was good enough to beat those teams. That means you're good enough to be in the you're good enough to be in the playoffs. Like, you don't have to be like Indiana spending money, but you never heard of most of these people that they're spending money on. Same thing goes with like Miami spending a lot of money. It might work for them this year, but but a lot of the shit that's going on right now, people are testing Florida State because they can be tested, and they haven't been doing the right things consistently over and over again, in my opinion. I don't know all of the minute details when it comes to it, but what we do know is that they can do it. They have the money. It's just tied up into things that probably shouldn't be tied up into right now. So wait and see. I just think Florida State has to realize we've been playing 40 we've been playing football for 40 years, and we never had a losing season. And right now we're going through a rough patch, and our fan base does not know how to take that in this technologically advanced world. But there are teams that are going through very, very similar things that Florida State is going through, and we have to take things into account. And I think Gerard just put in there, the guys that went 7-17 the last 2 years want raises. If that's the case, move them out, bring people in that will be good with that. And I think a lot of the action, based upon what I know at other schools, comes from a GM saying, you think you're worth, I'm just going to use this in plain, this isn't everybody. You think we were paying you $1 million. We went 7-17, paying you $1 million. That's worth $300,000 to us. That kid says, and you tell them that for them to enter the portal so that you can go pay $600,000 to a kid that you wanted. Does that make business sense? So Florida State has the money. Florida State, as we've shared so much on this, and it's actually, I think Miles made it a short, right? Where we talked about the medical school, the business school, different things. You don't make those things. You literally own College Town, which is which is the center of FSU's campus right now, or the heartbeat. I shouldn't say center, the heartbeat of FSU's campus right now. They're buying up. So like the money isn't there necessarily right now, but the money will be there because you just made bets on things that may not show in 20 years. So they're operating like a university, and those universities will do that. I think Florida State will be fine in a few years. Might not be Mike Norvell, might be with Mike Norvell, but I do know this. I don't lose sleep over things that I can't control. So, hey. Some might put it in a tough spot. I know we'll talk about the Twins here in a minute. So, both sides, it's not a sustainable model long term. I don't know. I think it is. And I'll tell you why I think it's a sustainable model. We've been saying that paying these coaches isn't a sustainable model since Bobby Bowden got $2.5 million back in the early 2000s. And which Florida State started this streak. Florida State started the overpaying coach. Like, you cannot call it amateurism once it's that. Moving past that, now that they're paying players, it's nowhere near as much money as what you guys think it is. Still quality money, but just not what you guys think it is. It's advertising, and if you look at what the advertising dollars are going to, the NFL model was said to not be sustainable. But the NFL model is sustainable because it's only made more money throughout the time. It's money there. you just don't know it. And a lot of times here's what I know to be true. We're having people who have and I want people to hear what I'm saying and don't take offense to this. There are people who have never made over $50,000 trying to have intelligent conversations about 7-figure deals or higher. Your money is the taxes that some of these people pay quarterly. If a billionaire or a multimillionaire wants to pay $1 million to somebody, who am I to tell that person? Because it's all a write-off. Until the tax code changes, people need write-offs. And if you told me I could buy people and that could be a write-off, I'd rather buy people. I'd rather give my money to somebody that I know is going to spend it than have it go and be in the hands of somebody who I don't trust. And that's literally essentially what all of this stuff is happening. As long as there is the haves and the have-nots, the model is sustainable. Because somebody's always going to want to flex and be able to brag and say, I bought that person. It's been happening with pussy since the beginning of time. Now it's just happening with football. We all buying. So it's one of the beautiful things about a capitalistic society is the market dictates the terms. So that's my quick viewpoint, and we'll see how some of the stuff goes into it. And we can talk about a lot of different things when it comes to the money in sport. Going with it. Unfortunately, I know it doesn't look like we're doing a lot, but there's a lot being done. We spend way more than what people think, and I know the way it's reported is contradictory in of itself, because it will say that we're broke, but then it will say that we're spending too much, and that doesn't make sense. So, but we'll see. We'll continue to press and progress. I do know now that we have a couple boosters that don't mind writing checks. So, yeah. It's about encouraging them to be able to continue to do what it is that they need to do. But like, as Andre says, I got a lot of shit going on, and to be honest with you, I kind of running the NIL space. When it's gonna get crazy is when it drops down to high school. But just ask yourself, 3 years ago, did you think you didn't know anything about Indiana or any of their boosters? Now we all know that Mark Cuban went there. But I've never heard anybody say anything about Mark Cuban in terms of Indiana, right? And Mark Cuban ain't even saying that he's buying people up. But we know he has a propensity to buy people because he owned the NBA franchise. Like, the rule is this. We can change it all overnight. Really, real quick. I can change it. James Coleman for college football commissioner. Change the rules real quick right here. Cap coaches salaries to $5 million and make it incentive based after that. You could pay a coach $20 million for all I give a fuck. Cap it to where the only ticket is $5 million. That's the only thing that's guaranteed is the $5 million. Everything else after that is incentive based. So cool. Let's do that first, right? Then after that, we will do, like, you can put the restrictions on the kids. I'm sure they'll take it, but it's hard for me to say I don't want to make no money when the coach coaches who ain't did shit getting paid $10.5 million and they're sitting at home getting paid off of a roster that they're not coaching.
That's super fair. That should definitely be first.
Like, you keep going for the whole. Like, you're going for everything else except for the thing that is clearly the problem. Like, nobody has a problem with what Lane Kiffin is doing. I don't have a problem with what Lane Kiffin is doing. I have a problem for people saying there's something wrong with what the kids are doing when they're doing the exact same damn thing as Lane Kiffin. If the kids, you just signed a deal, you need to learn how to honor your contract. Lane's leaving. God damn it, that's what makes America great. Like, are you listening to yourselves? Which is nothing wrong with either of them. Hell, again, I always bring it to this. Some of you guys are listening to me. Why are you supposed to be working? You will sit there on the phone and talk all day. You will go into do a job interview. You'll call in sick to go do a job interview somewhere else and shop yourself. Some of the main people who got critiques for the kids are on their 5th fucking job in 6 years. You are basically a transfer portal baby. So, no, I don't give a fuck about how much these kids are making. No, I don't care if they're strong arm, if it seems like they're strong arm in the university. Let them leave. If you don't believe they're good, I come up from again, this is why rap should have been more prevalent. Like, and a lot of you guys were shunning it, but I really believed if you would have listened to the rap or you would have been on the block and listened to your OGs, you would have been prepared for this. There was a guy, but I want to make sure I say his name right, because I don't, sometimes I get people's names wrong. And I don't like that. I feel like that's unintentionally disrespectful. And I love to be intentional with my disrespect. Let me see what this guy's name is. He's a Miami fan, but, he's from the Miami. All right, I'll tell you about it. It was a prophet that came upon in the 80s and then had another resurgence in like the mid 90s by the name of Jeffrey Jermaine Tompkins. Has anybody ever heard of the pastor, the prophet Jeffrey Jermaine Tompkins? Nah, but he's around the same ilk. He's from the Miami area. I didn't realize I thought he was older than that, but started preaching in 1989. But Jeffrey Jermaine Tompkins' name, it rings bells in the South Florida area. He went by his pastoral name was JT Money. And JT Money had this thing outside of the who. That's not what we're talking about. JT Money used to preach that whole problems ain't your problems. Don't hate the game because it ain't going to solve them. And he said, let it go. Let it go. If a hoe want a hoe, nigga, let it go. So if a hoe want a hoe, let it go. And if you would have learned these things in your youth, you would not be chasing these hoes. That's it. That's all I'm saying. But let's get to talking about Florida State. Ashton Daniels. Well, go ahead. Talk to me, Jay. Jaden. You do your part and then we'll break it down. I know some people in the chat have been asking about this young man.
That sums up my thoughts for him right there. So you can take it away, man.
All right, man. Hey, man. Speaking of passes, though, you're right too. Hey, listen. I committed sin looking at Jamal Bryant's wife. That ain't my fault. She wore that. She wore that dress, boy. Goddamn. Couldn't be me. Could not be me. He got way too much. But Jamal Bryant's a pimp. I mean, I know y'all don't like that, but Jamal Bryant was a whore out there while he was preaching. He wasn't married. He was slanging dick. He said, the quote I heard was, he a man just like everybody else. But hey, man, good for him. What we'll do, Jay, to go look up his stats and then we can break it down because I do know a little bit about him. I know he wasn't a starter. And he was okay. He's mid. I think Ashton Daniels is coming over here. He was like, they're going to now try to reframe this as he was the number one. He's going to be QB1, right? But that was not the case. Definitely not the case. From Buford, competitive, in a situation. Clearly a smart kid. Throws a lot of interceptions, but he was in a situation like this. Let's be clear. What Gus wants is a light-skinned quarterback with hair that can run and that can throw the ball. Now, if this young man can see the middle of the field, it's going to be good. But we went through a lot of this stuff last year with Thomas Castellanos, and everybody said, we're getting a guy to go win 2 games, but we got a guy that probably could have gotten us a little bit that gave us better results. But if he would have been a little bit better at seeing the middle of the field, seeing Weezy, you would have got what you wanted to get. But when we're looking at the guys that they're trying to bring in, I think he's on par with the UNLV kid. And I just think probably the UNLV kid, what he wanted for bread was a little bit different than what Ashton Daniels wanted for bread. But I do know they wanted Lagway. I do know they want Lagway. And now Lagway's trending to Virginia. Who knows? I don't know. But the goal was to bring in 2 portal quarterbacks, give Sperry another year to develop. And I know a lot of people are just like, why not just play Sperry? Brother, it is 11 of the 12 quarterbacks in the college football playoff came from somewhere else. Get over the portal, guys. But I do believe Sperry has some it factor along with the young men that they're bringing in. Hopefully, after this, we'll be able to just take care of our own. But because if Lagway comes, he's going to be there for 2 years. I don't know any of this stuff, but I do know 797 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions is not stellar. Can you blow up his rushing yards? I can't really see it. I mean, there you go. Like he's in a position with where he's more of the starter, he runs. So you do want that. You want the threat. The part of Gus's offense is having the threat to be able to move the pocket. When you look at the guy Carson is a willing runner. Actually, Carson's biggest play in the semifinals was running the ball. And you have to ask yourself, like right now, what are the quarterback evaluations coming out of high school? Do we need to take a step back and truly reevaluate it? Because none of the top quarterbacks that we've been screaming about every year coming out of high school are at the programs that they're supposed to be at. Most of them stink where they're at. Secondly, we got guys. If we would have taken a young man from Ferris State last year, everybody would have crucified Mike then. But that young man from Ferris State is in the Final Four. So at a certain point, we got to look at it like, man, maybe I would like us to buy better groceries. I don't necessarily believe in our coaching staff, and I get why you are, because they haven't shown anything the last 2 years to believe that they can take somebody from shit to sugar. But at the same time, when I'm not looking at just Florida State and I'm looking at the landscape of college football, what it seems to show us is that guys don't work in certain environments and they come back. It's also in the NFL. Guys who are more mature tend to work. Guys who play early, not so much. Fernando Mendoza, who sounds like a 1980s cartel drug dealer, is a starting quarterback of the number 1 team in the nation. Transferred from Cal, was okay at Cal, phenomenal at Indiana, obviously a Heisman Trophy winner, potentially one of the top quarterbacks in the coming up draft. Older, mature, Carson Beck. Say what you want to say about Carson. Offensively, they didn't do everything. That they haven't been very explosive. I expect to see some different things on Thursday because I think the way that game is going to go, Ole Miss is probably going to force them to have to score more points. So it's going to force Carson into a situation where he has to throw and he has to do some other different things. But say what you want to say about Carson Beck. He's a vet. What other teams are we talking about? Oregon's quarterback. Vet. So yeah, I just went through all 3 of them, right? Jared Williams, perfect. Our 2-10 team with a trash ass quarterback beat the guy who beat the guy in that defense who everybody ran that guy out of here. Stop the Heisman Trophy candidate. Like if you really go back and you look at it, it's crazy. We don't, and Bert put the only thing we know for certain is no quarterback at this point that Mike Norvell has brought in has worked out. But what was ironic was everybody ran tag out because he couldn't recruit high school quarterbacks. I'm just here to tell people like, hey man, we'll see in a little bit. But I'm not gonna stress myself out because Florida State can't hurt me anymore. They can't win or lose any more games. The only thing I can do is continue to watch really, really good football and unfortunately see the University of Miami do the same things that our fan base bitches about. You can't live in the portal, but then we don't do good enough in the portal. And it's very difficult. Some of you guys if this is how you do everything in your life, it's very difficult to be your mate. Because again, the greatest love song of all time is about to get played on repeat up here by again Pastor Bobby Womack. And he says, all I hear about, is my girl says I'm working too much. And then when I'm dead and broke, when I'm home and broke, I'm hearing her scream about what she ain't got and what her girlfriend got and how I need to go out and get it. And I can't be at two places at one time. We bitch about the portal, but then we say we don't get enough in the portal. Is it Uchi Wally Wally? Is it one mic? That being said, Jags are in the playoffs. And we'll be talking about that. Come on the bandwagon with the Jags. But we did get we got the quarterback commit, so hope he does well in an FSU uniform. We got another commit. We got Texas running back Quinn Travion. Wow. Jesus. That's a name. 597 yards rushing. I've seen some of the highlights. Cool. If he's better than Sam Singleton, great. Give me Osama bin running. Like, give me them three. We're good. Like, you need 3 to 4 running backs. You don't need to rotate them anywhere near as much. Mainly, you need to know who your 1 and 2 guy are going to be. This new running back coach, I like giving coaches the opportunity to bring in what they want to bring in. And if he likes him, I love him. He's had 2 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons with a running back. Maybe some things will change.
Also got another transfer from the state of Texas. We got Texas A&M edge, Rylan Kennedy. He totaled 40 tackles, 4 passes defended, 3.5 sacks in his time with the Aggies.
Got my dog Devin over there looking like old Yoda. Over there to the left. Devin could have got a better picture. Like Devin. But I don't, man, bring me any edge. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm trying to count. I might have had just as many sacks as our defensive had. We haven't been able to create pressure, but hopefully Nick will be able to come in, transform that room, and we will start seeing some good things. What year was he? Did it say what year he is?
I think he is a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken.
Young guy, get him some honey fried chicken. I need more DNs. Defense, again, if we're looking at he's a sophomore, so he'll be a junior next year. So we got him for 2 years. If we're looking for what our rivals have been able to accomplish, they're doing it with defense. Good defense, offense that doesn't lose you games, wins you a lot of football games, man. That's kind of where we're at. So let's continue to drive in the right direction and let's make shit happen.
Now that we started with some acquisitions, let's start with some departures from the program. First, being a player you had high hopes for coming into this next season, James. Number 7, LaWayne McCoy.
Cool. I want Lil Weezy to stay. Love the fact that they started. Blow it back up. That can't be right. It had to be this season. Okay. Whew. Okay. I thought that was career totals. I'm not saying shit. God damn. I thought he had more. Really came on late. High ceiling. I don't. They trying to like, bro, here. Oh, Tilda. Oh, damn, I can't even speak to this. Too close to home. Like, Tilda put Ricardo get back to recruiting fine ass mamas, boy. Speaking of that, man, that face pick, the cute face pick is diabolical. Because you have no idea what the person looks like. Ain't nothing wrong with a cute chunky. Love, give me a Lizzo. But, you know, we don't know. But, like, here's what I do know. And I don't know what Wayne's mom looks like. You're just trying to get more bread. And my thing with the trying to get more bread angle is he's a sophomore this year. If you come on board and you get to 800 next year, right? You double your total. You can get whatever you want to get from out of them. And you can, or you'll go to the league. Like, you earned it. Like, I'm not finna go. Like, I think I think the world of Boggs, right? I think Boggs was amazing. I was high on Boggs. I'm still high on Boggs. But my brother in Christ, he played 5 games last year. Like, go chase the bag. I'll never get mad at somebody for going to try to make some money. Hopefully we give you something comparable and you stay. But at a certain point, we're not putting you into the portal. You're putting yourself into the portal. So I don't feel sorry for these guys. I know he's going to find a landing spot. Right. There are guys who are actually getting put into the portal. You're trying to chase the bag, and it may work for you. I hope it does. It doesn't cost me any money. But, like, I just think at a certain point, you're in a place where you're going to be able to get everything that you want to get. And with me trying to do management and doing some of the different things, I'll talk to these kids like, what is the goal? Now, if you tell me straight up, I don't like my position coach, I don't think my coach can get me to the NFL, I will help you paint the narrative without being disrespectful. But if the market for wide receivers that have hamstring injuries, that can't go, that stay injured, I know why he stays injured. Because some people's bodies, like, I'm not a hater. I like to partake in certain things. But, like, when you're injury prone, you should probably stop partaking in certain things and wait. Or have some control. But if the market for an injury prone wide receiver whose biggest year was 400 yards and it is surging is going to make you exponentially more dollars, man, I can't tell you to not take that money, dog. That, you know, I heard somebody tell me one time, James, the NFL is not guaranteed. So put it up, JD Hayes. Put up the JD Hayes, like, and I can't even say it got a good father in his life. And I don't know, but hear me out, because I don't mean that to disparage the young man, right? But he got a good father that's been there before. Here's my problem with the portal and the landscape. It is not about young men making money. It's about what is the end goal and how much money do you need to make in order for you to be able to work toward getting the end goal. And I was explaining to my dry cleaner, if you're in Jacksonville, go to Grove Park Cleaners, best cleaners in the city. Palestinian mafia, man. I'm telling you, dog. Listen, dog, you eat some of that Palestinian food, bro, you might not be as pro-Israel as you once were. No joke. That's all jokes, tongue-in-cheek jokes. But like when you listen to it from the other side, it's cool. That's where I buy my guns from. That's why I was joking. I could probably be considered that anti-Semitic or whatever. Probably on the I probably am on a list somewhere. But I buy my guns from Palestinians, all these other different things. But like what I'm saying is that when me and Dexter talk, right? Dexter has played in the NFL. Dexter has funds. Dexter has lived his life. So he knows what it's like to be the breadwinner in a household. He doesn't need to do this. And a lot of these young men are the breadwinner. Like I remember dealing with the Josh Farmer situation. Like I mean, that's why I wasn't mad at Josh. Josh was dealing with a lot of pressure. He was the guy who was making all the money, and he was the little bro. So, hey, but if in the grand scheme of things, we got guys who can replace that, who can play. And I always have to use it. It's kind of like it's like when the 40-year-old fine woman comes to you and tells you that she used to having a man pay all her bills and you should do this, you should do that. And then you got the young 25-year-old that's like, take me to Checkers, and she fine too. Where you going? Which one are you gonna deal with? When the talent is even, you go younger. It's a football phrase. I ain't gonna deal with your old bullshit when I can go deal with this young new shit. And that's kind of the mentality that you have to go into this spot, but it makes it tough. So somebody put NIL has magnified the instant gratification attitude times 100. Football or sports is a microcosm of society. We all want instant gratification. Their instant gratification is just on social media. Always remember, we never heard it from the Jits, right? I want to know, like, Jay, pull up one of these. Put up the Lil Wayne graphic, please. We got Hayes Fawcett, right? Can you click on Hayes Fawcett's avatar? Not his avatar, but that. Nationally recruiting transfer portal reporter at Rivals at On3 Sports. All right. Can you click on one of those, Rivals or On3 Sports, just so we can get an understanding of what that is? All right. Media and news company. Interesting. How do media and news companies get paid? Does anybody understand media and news company? Because I'll tell you how they get paid. They get paid by your clicks, your subscriptions, the things that you bring up, they're going to report about because you like talking about it. And it doesn't mean that they're not going, but what happens is it puts another level of pressure on the kids, which is why I do believe the people who are advising these young men are doing them a disservice by not letting them know what's gonna happen when they hit that portal, or navigating them through it so that you can control the media. All you're doing is giving this thing, you're doing it the old school way, as reported by LAA Management Company, as reported by this, as reported by that. What I would do is, you know how you would hear about my client hitting the transfer portal? My client. And I also know that the pressure doesn't change the pocketbook. Or here's a novel fucking idea. Agents, go find your clients actual NIL deals that aren't contingent upon the fucking university. Go get them a real battle deal. Go get them a real local dealership deals. Because you know what can happen when you're done, especially if you raise your profile, especially if you magnify it, you get you more followers, you get you some content, you get you some things that the fan base can consume. You know what happens with that? You teach them how to make money for the rest of their lives. But when you have to do this, when the new young bad bitch come out, they're gonna go get the new young bad bitch. But what about having an iconic moment? You know, you like, I just look back at me when I scored. I got a picture of me running over Leon Williams against Miami in 2005. Imagine the time if I were in this era, in real time, they could take that moment, take a picture of it, because people have pictures of it. I give my name, image, and likeness to like a car company or something like that, and we're able to talk about that. And at that moment, you could go buy that moment while you're on a high. There's NIL deals like that out there. It's called actually liking to do your job. But, you know, a lot of it is finesse. We're gonna get the broom. This is, man. When I hear that song, certain songs, man, makes me remember when Trey used to sing that shit. Tripping with finesse. It don't make no sense. Like, that's all they trying to like. But again, like, guys, like, the Twins are dope. I love the Twins. Remember we called them? Bad Twin is the one that's causing this. Bad Twin was a bad man. Good Twin is coming up. But like, hey, go get your money. I don't know their family situation, but I do know this. What I would tell them is, bro, how much you want to make? You in Tallahassee, a million, I don't even know if it's a million. A million in Tallahassee, you might as well be making 3 million. Got a lot further than it do in Miami. A million in Miami is 30,000.
Yeah, for real.
For where you're going to have to stay for making $1 million in Miami. You ain't gonna be able to stay in no regular ass student housing. You can get touched. You could go live in Killarn or Southwood as a jit. And like, or where your pop stays, Miles. Like, nobody's coming to rob you there.
Right.
The drive back is too far. PR Medium said, are these problems magnified less in other sports? No. We just don't give a fuck about other sports if you're listening to this channel. If you're listening to this channel, you know what you're not listening to me for? NBA advice. Even if Jaden talks about it, like, you're not coming here to get schooled on the old school pick and roll or the art of the 3-point shot. If this were a basketball pod, we would be talking about how the dude is changing Mormon culture out there. I know there's no way they paid that man all that NIL money and said he couldn't go soak a couple Mormon bitches every day. They probably said, hey, man, don't worry about soak, mutt them out. But anyways, the good twin, bad twin, using the portal in a negotiation twin. Apparently, they had a deal that they signed in good faith, and they decided to not get out of that. But now, what makes this one different is that they just signed that contract. They break that deal, they got to pay us back. Shit. Go get your money, go get your money, daddy. Just make sure I get mine.
And this will happen with every that gains a certain amount of popularity.
Without a doubt, when lacrosse blows up, it's gonna be like this too. But like, dog, like, if you want to go get your bread, get your bread. This shit sound like farm. I don't believe it until I see, because when you hit the portal, it's 48 hours. It's a 48-hour wait window. And then shit gets done. And you know what? They only got until next week to enter. So this is when you do kind of get your negotiation deals. But I don't blame them. Florida State tried to get in front of this one. They noticed that the boys was good. They tried to get in front of it. Like, it's the business. I would tell them to ride it out. I would have told them we hit in the portal. Y'all need to negotiate us a good deal. Well, but I guess they were already doing it. But now that they see some of the money thrown around, have no problem. If that's the agent, then I'm not. I know how the agent operates, and can we blow that up so I can see who they're? Are they LLA or whatever sports too? Because a lot of these kids have the same agent, and that could probably tell you what your problem is right there. But blow it up real quick, Jason, so I can see it.
They do have the same agent as McCoy.
Click on LAA Sports and Entertainment. I don't want to knock them. They probably are good. I don't know. Ironic. Can you stop right there? Go right into the middle brackets in their like Sports and Entertainment Agency. That's what LAA stands for? Loyalty above all?
Yeah, their NFL clients include James Cook, I think J.K.
Is it who?
Dobbins, James Cook,
Okay.
J.K. Dobbins. I also saw as well. Make sure to see Shamar Stewart. Oof, they got Shamar Stewart. If anybody remembers Shamar, he had the clause in his contract that LLA refused to sign, held out for a while, got it back. But those are some of their clients in the league.
So I was talking to one of somebody I came up with from Tallahassee. She's got sons that are really dope, and they signed somebody. They signed with an NFL agency, and a lot of NFL guys are trying to come into the NIL space. It is not the same. In the NFL, we have CBA, we have rules, we have real hard things. You have 32 teams to compete with. But, in the college space, you have more. But if you go to this and, reparations, no vote for that, that's actually really good thing that I know with this the group that I'm doing stuff with, we talk about things like this, like tangible assets. Now, you can't pay me, but you can pay me, right? There's a couple kids. There's a young man in this area who is being celebrated for winning the state championship, rightfully so. And his coach is going on a whirlwind spree, and instead of taking the fucking time out to make sure that kid is somewhere else, guys like me who people talk bad about is trying to make sure the kids got this. But one of the deals that we have, it's not necessarily fiscal. It's taking care of making sure his rent is paid, which could in turn be, if you have no bills, that could be a $1,500 a month NIL deal for you. Yeah. So that's $18,000. That's an $18,000 NIL deal for an HBCU. Like, you could get the bread. You could get, that's one less thing you have to pay for. And maybe you have to talk about a rental agent, like a rental agency or some shit. But there are things that these guys could get, but no knock on how they make their money. But I think they're coming with a mindset that they don't understand into. Like, they're trying to make it the NFL, but it's not the NFL. So, but NFL has hundreds of millions of dollars to budget for their rosters annually. The college doesn't. So, but I now see the trend. I know if I'm dealing with them, I'm like, all right, I'm probably gonna have an issue if I'm dealing with these guys.
Juice Justin Cryer is entering the portal, James. He started 8 games, recorded 43 tackles, 5 TFLs, and 1 sack.
I don't think he fits the system. I like Juice. I liked when we got him from Northwestern. We got blessed getting him, but he'll probably go somewhere G5 kid and flourish. Good for him. Or if we keep him, he just got to get faster. If you could take Juice and Nicholson and combine them, you would have an amazing linebacker. But unfortunately, you can't. I think Juice is a really smart football player that I do believe will be playing in the NFL one day.
Last but not least, we have some Earl Little news. FSU fans, we're excited to see Earl Little take out his name from the NFL draft, but to my knowledge, they weren't guessing that he was going to enter the transfer portal. But it is official. Earl Little plans to enter the transfer portal after revoking his name from the NFL draft. James, did you expect him to enter the portal instead of staying with FSU once he revoked his name from the draft?
So he took his name out of the draft to hit the portal?
Yes.
I thought he was coming right back to FSU. I thought they convinced him, but I do know this. He probably put that name in the put that name in the NFL draft, and then it ain't look as sexy as he thought it was gonna look. But go get your bread, man.
That's it for our FSU topic, and we're gonna finish off this college
I
football.
don't know, did that answer your question? Which question? No, we haven't got to the NFL yet. All right.
In case anybody is wondering what the cost is of doing business in the portal this year, the New York Times has created a range of prices for specific position groups on what things are going for in the portal. QB 1 to 4 million, even though we're going to talk about a potential $5 million quarterback. Tackles 6 to 1.3, running backs 4 to 9, wide receivers 5 to 1 million, tight ends 3 to 9, edge rushers 500K to 2 million, interior D line 5 to 1.5, corners 250 to a million, and safeties 250 to $900,000. These are your costs for doing business in the portal this year, and yesterday's price is not today's price. So you're probably going to see these numbers slowly shift upwards in the near future. But these are your price ranges for those quarterbacks and those positions. But specifically, James, let's look at that quarterback range right there, 1 to 4 million, because the new Texas Tech quarterback Brandon Sorsby has been rumored to allegedly receive $5 million to go to Texas Tech. And that's not surprising when you know Texas Tech money. And look at this. They even got him a billboard in Times Square celebrating his commitment.
I was going to
Texas
say I don't
Tech.
believe it, but that billboard at Times Square for a couple of days, probably 300, 400 by itself.
It's rumored that Sorsby collected $5 million from Texas Tech. He even got a little call from Patrick Mahomes himself saying how he should come to the school. But this landscape is ever changing. But if you know, then you know how Texas Tech operates. They are not hesitant on spending that bag. But James, a billboard in Times Square, this is how the portal is going to be from here on out. But imagine seeing your face in Times Square once you sign to a new school. That must be a crazy feeling, especially when that school is in Texas.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's marketing. Is more than that. It's just showing people his money over here. That's basically it.
Yep, they definitely do got the money. Just
how much is it? Really?
Yeah, that's what it's not.
In Times Square?
Yeah, might not get a biggest one. There's different variables, so you might. There's different variables, so you might not get one as big as his. But yeah, I'm looking on there saying now, yeah, about 5,000 to 50,000 for 1 to 3 days is the average.
Man, like I got new goals. You know, Gordon was on Times Square, billboard in Times Square when he was the fastest man in New York. When he won they got a big track meet.
From one quarterback situation to another. This one, though, is kind of a sloppy dilemma. So this is none other than the Washington quarterback. I don't know if you heard of this story, James. Demond Williams. So Williams is entering the transfer portal. That news broke around yesterday. But there's also been some reports, courtesy of Pete Thamel, that Williams signed a deal to return to Washington last week. It will be interesting to see this unfold with that deal at Washington in place. And sources indicated to ESPN that the deal he signed was near the top of the market. And we have some more information that Washington sources say they are prepared to pursue all legal avenues to enforce Williams' signed contract.
I don't think people understand what going to court would do to this. And I think a lot of people use going to court as a scare tactic. But it doesn't work for people who really know law. I welcome it because I have questions and things that I want to know. So, like, because one of the things that people who've listened to me for long enough, or you've been paying attention to this, what do I say about court cases? I let people in the comments say that, and then we'll see if you guys remember. If you've really been paying attention to school and class, we'll do all those different things. Somebody put, while we're looking at that again, what do I say about legal stuff? PRMD Media says, what's a no contact tag in the portal means? It basically means you already know where the fuck you want to go. So don't call. I'm entering the portal as a formality. I know where I'm going, or I have an idea. Don't contact, or it's really don't contact me unless I contact you. It's kind of what it means. But all I know is this: Discovery is a motherfucker, and what Georgia's doing to that one kid is wild. And what Washington is going to do with this, because what's probably going to get put on the Summer Jam screen is the things of you breaking the rules of what name, image, and likeness truly means, what it truly is. Like, it's not pay for play. It's supposed to be you're doing something for the proper way. So
the precedent these cases will be a fickle one for the upcoming college landscape, because so many moving parts, everybody's learning on the go. So it'll be interesting to see what type of precedent these cases will create for the near future. James, we talked about FSU and how they got the Texas running back, and it looks like our rivals running back is staying. Jaden Baugh, who put BTA on the Seminoles in their rivalry game, is looking like he's going to be a Gator this upcoming year. So according to On3, Baugh has signed a new deal to return to the blue and orange in 2020.
I know he getting paid a bag, which that probably lets me that hurts. Well, that was a big thing with Lagway. But shit. That motherfucker good, dog. That bitch is angry. He needs a positive male role model in his life. I know Florida State fans don't want to hear this. I think Florida and Miami are better than us at is in how not their fan bases react. The people with money in their fan bases react. They truly get it. And you're either going to play the game and be a part of the game, or you're going to adapt. Basically, you're going to adapt or you're going to die. And the way that they're going about it is they're choosing to adapt. So you keep your better talent, but they have a lot of people leaving too. And then they have a much better reign on their media. Like Florida and Miami, when the season's over, will deal with the same things. They'll have a bunch of people hit the portal as well. Like, it's the nature of the game.
That concludes our college segment for today. And now we are going to kick off our NFL segment with some familiar faces. The NILs, aka NFL Knowles, aka Knowles in the League, who have been putting on for FSU, but who have been showing out for their respective franchises. Starting at the top, we have Braden Fisk, 1 sack, 1 TFL, 3 QB hurries versus the Cardinals. Tatum Bethune, 7 total tackles, 2 of them solo, 1 sack, 1 PBU versus Seattle. Jarian Jones versus the Titans, 3 total tackles, 1 PBU, 1 TFL. Renardo Green versus the Seahawks, 8 total tackles, 6 solo, 1 PBU. Brian Burns, a.k.a. Spider-Man, 2 total tackles, 1 TFL, 1 QB hurry versus Dallas. Jamie Robinson, safety for the Falcons, had 1 solo and 1 block punt versus the Saints. Jared Verse, 3 total tackles, 1 sack, 1 TFL, 2 QB hurries versus the Cardinals. a name we haven't said in a while, but happy to say it. Keon Coleman, 49 receiving yards and 1 2-point conversion versus their division rivals, the New York Jets. Jalen Ramsey versus their division rival on the Sunday Night Football game against Baltimore. 6 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 PBU. Derek Nottie, 4 solo versus the Raiders. And Josh Sweat, 2 total tackles, 1 sack versus the Rams. Shout out to all the NILs on this list, but hoping Keon Coleman gets a goose egg against the Jaguars on Sunday. So let's talk about the Jaguars, because the Jaguars are facing off against the Buffalo Bills, the 6th ranked seed at Jacksonville this Sunday. Jaguars are the 3rd ranked seed in the playoffs. We are the AFC South champions, and this will be an interesting game on the running front because the Bills currently average the most rushing yards per game, while the Jaguars currently allow the least amount of rushing yards per game. So this is going to be the battle of the trenches for sure. So James, my question to you during this Jaguar segment is, what in your mind are the key components for the Jaguars to get this victory against Josh Allen and the Bills?
Stop the run and bottle up Josh Allen and force their receivers, which the receiving core isn't the greatest. It's good, but it's not the greatest. Force the receiving core to be better. Force him to don't let him do Josh Allen shit. Force him to just be a drop back passer and see how it goes. That's the best way. And then really you have to press and play time of possession. So one of the things that I was in a Buffalo Bills spaces on Tuesday or Monday. No, Sunday or Monday. I forgot which one. It was Sunday. It was before I went to go do the First Coast Final, sports final. And they were talking about advanced analytics and all this other shit. I got mad and he just hung up and was like, fuck it, the Jags by 20 then. I'm like, bro, I'm not saying that stats don't matter, but I'm saying you're manipulating stats to think that you're going to bully a team that's clearly playing very well. They would talk about, look at who you've played in the last 8 games. I'm like, yeah, we played the number 1 overall seed and dominated them. Indianapolis Colts were the number 1 overall seed when we played them. We've played some teams that aren't so good and we made them look really, really bad. Good, and we played some good teams. Excuse me. We made bad teams look worse, and we made good teams look bad, regardless of what the situation. And I told him, look at who you've played in the last 8 games. We would all say the Dolphins aren't a good team. You got dominated by the Dolphins. So but one thing about the AFC is it's wide open. But the guy tried to say the Jaguars, and I want you guys to tell me if maybe I missed something. He said the Jaguars are ranked 30th in run stoppage rate. I don't really know what that means, but I know we ranked number 1 against the run. I was like, which one? But that, and then he got mad. I'm like, dog, would you rather teams not run on you more? What are we talking? I was like, what are we talking about? We're just throwing out stats. This is advanced analytics. You don't think people? I said, I only played the game. I never sat in a situation when we were playing in the game and thought, oh my God, it's 4th down. And historically in Jacksonville on a Sunday at 1 p.m. when the weather is fair, they have a 75% propensity to be able. I said, that's just not the way the fucking game works. Somebody studies that shit, but see ball, hit ball. I was like, y'all people who have never played this game try to make this game way more complicated than what it fucking is.
You out nerded him. Your stat beats that.
And he couldn't. And I'll just tell him, I'm just a jock. But if the goal is to stop him from running a lot,
right,
we tend to do that pretty good over here. I was like, it's not saying that James Cook isn't good. It's not saying that Josh Allen isn't good. But if you're going to use the stats, then this is what the stats actually tell you. And that's the way we got to win the game. The reality of the situation is our Josh Allen has to be better than their Josh Allen. And if Trevor Lawrence doesn't fucking turn the ball over, which he hasn't done really the last 5 weeks, he's tough to beat. And then they ask, is it sustainable? Bitch, I don't fucking know. Is it sustainable that you guys are going to win? Like, who knows? That's why you play the game. But right now, the Jaguars are the hottest team in the NFL. And to not acknowledge that is just pure hatred. Doesn't mean that they're going to win. They gave us points. You know what I did? I took them motherfuckers. But it's going to be really good weather. And we'll see. Like, I think I'm flying to Boston next week. That's how I feel. Do I feel we're going to blow them out? Not at all. This is the NFL. It's not supposed to happen that way. But can I see Trevor Lawrence stepping back and doing what he's been doing the last 5 weeks? There's nothing that shows me that he can't. He dominated the Broncos, who have a good defense too. I don't know, man. I think good teams. It's going to be it's a matchup. There wasn't the only team that I really wanted to play with the Chargers, but like this is a good matchup. Luckily, 69 degrees in Jacksonville is like the summer in Buffalo. So like it's been frozen, it's been frosty up there. So like hopefully it's hot and muggy for us.
Let's get into the biggest news story coming from the NFL. I just want to read some numbers before we dive into the firing. 18 seasons, 180 and 113 record, 13 and 11 postseason record, and Super Bowl champion. If you guys are not aware, John Harbaugh, whose stats I just read, is out at the Ravens head coaching position. Somebody put this graphic right here, and this pretty much sums up what that game meant. If the Ravens missed the field goal, Harbaugh would be fired. And if the Ravens made the field goal, there was a high chance that Tomlin would be fired. But according to Brian McFadden, that is a lie. But I thought this post right here was summed it up pretty well for the winner go home game. But John Harbaugh is out as the Ravens head coach. And the Ravens have only had 3 coaches in franchise history, with Harbaugh serving the longest tenure out of the bunch. But James, I'm going to go back to those numbers. 18 seasons, 180 to 113 record, 13 and 11 postseason record. Do you think it was time for the Ravens to fly away from Harbaugh?
I mean, sometimes you need a change in scenery, or they feel like the message has gotten stale and they have their franchise quarterback in Lamar Jackson. And really, when you look at it, it's not about, I mean, this season was bad. John Harbaugh has been pretty good, right? Like the Ravens it's been the Ravens Steelers for that division for quite some time. But like he will get another job. Now you can go back to the thing that's actually, let's look at this. Blow it up. Make me small, make him big. Yeah,
James,
this is wild.
You were right.
This is wild.
You were right. There has been multiple teams who've been in contact with Harbaugh from what I've been reading. And this is his record throughout the year. So from the Super Bowl from this season, 2012 to 2025, there's been 13 seasons, and Harbaugh has made the playoffs 7 times since he last been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the only thing you'll put in there is like he's got a lot of divisional losses. But that means you got to the second round of the playoffs, and his loss in the division last year came down to a tight end not catching a pass. Like when you look at the game, his last games, field goal kicker missing a chip shot. The first 40-yard field goal that he's missed all year. Tight end missing dropping a routine goal line catch. Like I'd say the biggest mismanagement that he's had in this entire time is what they did with Lamar Jackson in his contract. Like not wanting to pay him and let him challenge the market. And like when you could have kind of got it sold up for a lot cheaper, probably. But I believe he'll go somewhere like Miami. Like, and I think that's the comment. If you go find the go pull that up, Miles. Where Till Dog put, I need the Dolphins to hire Harbaugh and bring Lamar Jackson home, and Tua McDaniel could go home. But like, if that, you did.
Tua's fault, not McDaniel. McDaniel's good. Achan's good.
Achan is good. I don't know about if Josh McDaniel. I don't know if Quarterback is a good coach, but they have been playing better since Tua's been sat down. I will say that. You got other franchises that are probably going to come open, and what the NFL needs is their core group of franchises to be well. You need the Raiders to be good. Like, Raiders being good is fun, even though Oakland. Let me rephrase that. But they're in Vegas. They're in Vegas, so that kind of stinks. But when they were in fucking Oakland, it was just heartwarming because it just looked like, I had no idea it was that expensive to live in Oakland.
Really, I didn't.
It's like San Francisco. All of it is cheaper. It's just cheaper than San Francisco, but it's still fucking expensive. I just thought it was the projects.
Me too.
I think it has something to do with NWA as well. But the Raiders need it. The Giants or the Jets need to be good because that you got that market. They got the Bears rocking, so that gives you some nostalgia. Feel like we need the NFL, even though we know the South is what really runs football. But like, we need the NFL to, we need like the snowy scenes and like the frozen tundra, like the NFL films type shit.
Yeah,
but
true.
What Tomlin has done is crazy, and even what Harbaugh coaching for that long is really impressive at one spot. They normally get rid of you a lot quicker than that. But to be in a place where you have another coach who's had a winning record every year and you're still being able to get what you need to get is wild. So, but that Harbaugh name is going to be is golden.
Let's look at the coaching news from yesterday. So these are some of the events that happened yesterday. We just talked about Harbaugh, and Cowboys are moving on from the DC Matt Eberflus. Lions are moving on from OC John Morton, and Commanders have now moved on from both coordinators, OC Cliff Kingsbury and DC Joe Witt Jr. Also, as well, the Cardinals fired their head coach. It's funny you mentioned Tomlin, James, because he is the longest tenured active NFL head coach. So these are your list of the longest tenured active NFL head coaches. John Harbaugh was number 2 on this list before his firing, but Mike Tomlin, number 1 with 19 seasons. Then Andy Reid with 13. Sean McDermott with 9. Wow, it's been a while. Sean McVay with 9. And then Kyle Shanahan with 9.
That's wild. That's a hell of a rookie class of coaches. You know, the one who's the least successful is Sean McDermott, and he's cooking over there. But he allowed the Patriots to resurge, which is even wilder. But you'll see with these firings and the new hires, you'll see like guys like Cliff Kingsbury get another shot. NFL wants to shift to the spread, and he's probably one of the more proficient guys that understands the spread. Like, he's the only person I've ever seen fail. Nobody fails quite like Cliff Kingsbury. He's really good at it.
These are all the head coach openings and GM openings in the league. Ravens are opening, and it's funny that the Ravens are right on top of the Giants because there's been some word that Harbaugh might be entertaining the New York Giants head coaching position with Brian Dabble recently getting fired. Then you got the Titans, the Falcons, the Cardinals, like I mentioned, Browns with Stefanski, Raiders with Pete Carroll, and the Dolphins and Falcon general manager positions are on the table as well.
A lot of careers being tied to, a lot of careers getting tied to coaches, man. So like, if you want to be a GM, you want to hire the right guy first, or if you're gonna go to these jobs where the GM is already there in place, if they hire you and you stink, all of y'all are fired. So that's kind of an interesting situation.
Let's get away from all this head coaching talk and GM talk, and let's show some love to the wide receivers, especially JSN, because he is this season's receiving yards leader. But on the other hand, the Jets have been a joke of a franchise, especially this season. There's been a wide variety of memes about the Jets and posts regarding the Jets, but this one hits home. So let's take a look at this. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 1,793 receiving yards and 163 targets. The Jets' entire wide receiver room had 271 targets, 1,575 receiving yards, and the same amount of touchdowns as Jackson Smith and Jigba this season. What's crazy to me is the number of targets as well. JSN had 108 less targets than the Jets' entire wide receiver room, but managed to get 200 more yards receiving than the entire Jets wide receiving room. Oh, and it doesn't get better, because if you take a look at this post right here, courtesy of NFL Researcher, Garrett Wilson missed the most games, 10, by any player to lead his team in receiving yards since at least 1932. Garrett Wilson just played 10 games this season, but he led the Jets wide receivers in receiving yards. In second place is rookie Mason Taylor, the rookie tight end, but this is just a crazy stat.
Speaking of Taylors, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary
Of
Acho? of Finding Joy.
Oh yeah, her
you
and
know what? That'd be an amazing documentary name. Finding Joy, the Fox News scandal, Fox Sports scandal.
But to all of my Jets fans out there, including you, James, sorry about this, man. Sorry, you said you used to like the Jets growing up, but
they made me not like them anymore.
Yeah, free my dog Garrett Wilson, man. Free everybody at the Jets, first and foremost. But just wanted to share that with you for any of my Jets fans out there as well. And take a look at this interesting post since we're on the topic of receivers. I thought this was a great post, a great use of next gen stats. We love using next gen stats when we talk about the NFL. They have great passing charts, great rushing charts. And James, they actually included this great post right here because they actually described the most receiving yards by route during the 2025 season. So for your angle route, Christian McCaffrey had the most receiving yards. Shouldn't be surprised right there coming out the backfield. Corner route, Trey McBride, who had a historic season for the tight end position. The crossing route, Jameson Williams, no surprise there. He's a speedster. The flat route, Bijan, no surprise there. Running back. Go route, T. Higgins with 336. Hitch route, George Pickens with 275. NFL young boy likes making a miss. In route, Puka Nacua, no surprise. He's a tank. Out route, Jamar Chase. Post route, Puka Nacua. Screens, what we have to watch out for as the Jaguars, Khalil Shakur, the Bills wide receiver. Slant, George Pickens again. And the wheel route goes to Ramondre Stevenson of the New England Patriots with 77. But I thought this was a great chart to post. And James, any surprising numbers or players with their respective routes?
Bijan with 432. That means he's taking a couple to the house on the flat routes. And I'm shocked that the wheel route isn't hit as often because 77 yards is not it's not a lot. That means that's just one. That means it's not used as well, as utilized as much as it is in college, but that could be a spacing thing. But like in an NBA young boy, NFL young boy being one of the better wide receivers. But it's kind of cool, like when they break it down like that, like and how many yards that they have, and that's interesting.
Yes, NFL Youngboy is on this list twice with the slant and with the hitch route as well. Shout out to NFL Youngboy. But you mentioned Bijan, and Bijan actually had the most scrimmage yards this year in the NFL, James. So shout out to Bijan. He had the most scrimmage yards in the NFL. Anybody who's a Dirty Bird fans or who watch the Falcons games, you know how serious that running back is. And shout out to everybody on this list as well. So we're going to keep on keeping on with the NFL portion of the show since we are on a roll. And the next thing we're going to look at is some Super Bowl odds courtesy of FanDuel Sportsbook. So these are your Super Bowl odds, and this post was made on Monday at 5 p.m. So with this right here, the Seattle Seahawks currently favored to win the Super Bowl. They have the lowest odds to win the Super Bowl with plus 390 according to FanDuel. Then you have the Rams, Broncos, Eagles, Patriots, Texans, Bills. Then the Jaguars coming in at plus 1,400. Packers, Bears, Niners, Chargers, Steelers, and then the Carolina Panthers with plus 22,500. So this is courtesy of FanDuel. So just wanted to update you guys right here with these odds for the Super Bowl.
What if them boys win the what if it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, Carolina Panthers in the Super Bowl? Wouldn't that be wild?
Whew.
It would be gross.
Yeah, that's nasty. I don't want to see.
Yeah,
I don't want to see Xavier Legette in the Super Bowl. No offense.
You're gonna have some. You ain't never had no coon out here in San Francisco, huh? That'll be crazy, diabolical.
Cool.
So moving on from the Super Bowl odds, for all my fantasy players out there, these are the top running backs and quarterbacks in this 2025 season in terms of overall PPR. So all my fantasy fans, you would have done well if you would have at least took these guys right here. Josh Allen was the number one fantasy QB in terms of PPR with 364.62 points. Then you have Drake May, Matt Stafford, and T. Law, aka Waffle House Willie, breaking the top five. Caleb Williams, Dak Prescott. We know he's a regular season sniper. Bo Nix, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, and Justin Herbert round out your top 10 quarterbacks. Then for running backs, CMC is number one on that list. Bijan, Jameer, JT, Devon Achane, James Cook, Chase Brown, Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, and Travis Etienne cracked the top 10 running backs list for overall PPR. So we have two Jaguars who are in the top 10 in the quarterback and in the running back category for your fantasy. So shout out to those players for doing their thing on the football field this regular season. But playoffs are just around the corner, and I do want to remind you guys of this wild card weekend's football schedule. So the games are going to start on Saturday, and it's going to be kicked off with the Rams versus the Panthers matchup. The Panthers actually beat the Rams in the regular season, if you guys remember that close game. And this game's going to be happening at 4:30 p.m. on Fox. And then the NFC North wildcard division battle between the Packers and the Bears will occur on 8 p.m. on Saturday on Prime Video. Then Buffalo at Jacksonville, 1 p.m. On Sunday, Niners at the Eagles, 4:30 p.m. And then the Chargers at the Patriots. And then on Monday, you have the Houston Texans at the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I wanted to mention this game last because there is some interesting statistics associated with this game. So the Texans have never won a road game in the playoffs, and the Steelers have won 23 straight home Monday night football games. The Monday night football game is going to be at Pittsburgh, so the Texans will have to play a road game in the playoffs, and the Steelers will host this home game. So one of these records has to get broken on Monday. So, James, which one do you think it is? The Texans beating the Steelers or the Steelers adding to get 24 straight home Monday night football game victories?
Let me look at something real quick. Oh, the Steelers are going to win. Oh, no, it's Monday night. All right, so Saturday. So Friday and Saturday, it's a plus 60% chance of rain up there. So that field's going to be trash. And then it's supposed to 23% chance of snow on Sunday. And then it's going to be like a low of 29 on Monday night. So that field is probably going to be like 13 degrees. That's going to suck. And then you're going to have pastors throwing on water on the field, the holy water on the field. So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. And then it'll be Pittsburgh. If that happens, no, Pittsburgh will be a top seed. They'll be the 4th seed. So if that happens, then I think we get to play them. Hold on, I'm going to look at the playoff brackets again. I'm pretty sure we got to win first. But if Pittsburgh beats them, then I think the Jags will get the next highest. They'll get the highest seed. No.
From the wild card weekend, whoever wins, they get reseeded, and the Broncos would play the lowest seed out of the teams that won in the wild card. And then
so they're gonna go by record or something at that point?
I don't know, but from what I researched, it said after the wild card they reseed them, so the Broncos will face the lowest seed. But if the Broncos, let's just say, if that reseeding thing isn't true, and the Broncos would face the lowest seed,
I think that would be the lowest seed's coming from there. It doesn't. I just thought about it. Doesn't matter. We're playing Boston. If the Patriots win, we're playing the Patriots. That stinks. Yeah.
So let's get into
unless the Chargers win.
Unless the Chargers win, yes. Let's get into our big games BS section for today. It's a little bit different than how we usually do, but thought it would spark some controversy for sure, especially for all of my big backs out there. We got no video, no food video, but we got a post for you. So, Food Pleaser posted this on their account, and they asked the question, which tastes better, cookies or brownies? But James, I have 2 questions for you. 1, which one tastes better to you? And 2, have you ever gotten dips with your cookie or brownie, like in this picture shown right here?
Now, I've never gotten dips for it, but like, I'm not against it. Like, I like, man, you got medium rare cookies over there too. Love a good medium rare cookie. Yeah, man, they just right. And then the brownie, that's one of them, the moisture brownies. Like, I don't like the dry brownies, man. Like, why y'all be out here making people's like palates dry? Like, yeah, I'm all for it. I like both of them. Give me that. Normalize that. Yeah. What is the white? Is that like a cookies and cream or frosting? Yeah, I don't want that. I'll take the chocolate and then the caramel.
Damn, those cookies look well underdone.
Like them things is salt. Them things like you're not gonna be able to pick. Like they had the spatula drop those cookies in. There's no way you pick those cookies up by your hand. But like, don't give me that like give me that corner, that top brownie, one on the right, top right. Like I know that edge is like it gets a little, but then everything else is soft. Oh, yes.
Double fudge.
Yeah, man. When people be giving me the cake brownies, man. Nah, dog. Nah, man. Y'all keep that to yourself. Yeah, ice cream. I had that for Christmas. My goddaughter, they made the desserts. It wasn't all a home run. They made somehow their cookies look like muffins. I don't know what happened. Don't know what went down, but I know for a fact cookies aren't supposed to look like muffins, and they were a little drop. But you know, as a good godfather, I ate it. I put it on my plate, so I ate it. Then I just knew not to do that again. It was a sugar cookie, so like it's you kind of know what you're getting with a sugar cookie sometimes. But then they made the brownies. Man, I went and take one of them bad boys. I said, "Yo," I went and put that in the microwave about 30 seconds, let it get a little warmer, and we got the individual cups of vanilla ice cream. So I ain't got to worry about, scooping too much. And then, I can boom. That's just enough. I just put you put your hand on the bottom of it to melt it a little bit so that you can just squeeze it out on the top of it and get all of the goodness. And then I just went to town, man. I had a great time. I was over there enjoying, kick my legs up and let everybody do whatever they were doing while I was watching the game.
James, I know you're not the biggest NHL fan, but we are Panthers fans since they did win the Stanley Cup last season. But James, Diddy decided to orchestrate his own game last night in the National Hockey League. So let's take a look at this right here. So the Predators and the Oilers played last night, and many sports fans called this game the Diddy Bowl. Thought this was hilarious. Thought this was just perfect timing, but seems like Diddy has his hands on NHL games too, James.
That is wild. That's funny, man. That's the Diddy Bowl. I saw something where they had the Venezuelan president in the same cell as Diddy, and he was rubbing the shoulders like, "Don't worry, they got me for oil too." So, but I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, them Diddy jokes ain't gonna never get old, man.
Yeah. This one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was. They took my oil too.
Yo, they gotta stop. Jeez.
It's the picture of why he gotta look like that. Like, why he gotta look like a Beavis and Butthead, dude.
I don't know about that one.
That's wild, bro. Yo. Oh man. Why they got a box?
Okay, this one's good. I love this one. This one's hilarious. this AI
is wild, bro.
He got his dick in a box.
Isn't there like a thing, a dick in a box?
Yeah, the song.
Okay, that's what I
From
thought.
SNL.
That's what it was. Okay, I'm about to say, I know I ain't tripping, right?
Dick in a box. Justin Timberlake.
It's more to it.
Okay.
Oh.
No. This is more intense than I thought.
Whoa.
Oh, Jesus. AI is scary.
Whoa. The way that's crazy.
Get back to hilarious again.
Yeah. Like
oh my gosh, AI needs to stop making my video games and computers.
that's crazy, dog. That's wild.
Somebody to type in the prompts to those. Like that is kind of complicated. They really spent their day doing.
Yeah. And thank them for their service.
Well, I didn't want to end this off on a slippery note, but that's all I had for today, James. Any last words to the fans as we bring in the hump day?
Nah, man, appreciate y'all coming and chopping up with me on a Wednesday. Make sure you like the page. Make sure you like the like this show. Share it. See you guys and stay tuned for more information going on to the weekend. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you.